Well, no-fault auto insurance was designed to pay promptly regardless of who is at fault in a car accident.
But the insurance industry claims that some people are taking advantage of a good thing, and it's costing New Yorkers hundreds of millions of dollars every year. News 4's Luke Moretti takes a closer look now at no-fault fraud in tonight's special report.
No-fault auto insurance fraud is big business.
It's in all the upstate cities, including Buffalo.
Bogus claims costing honest New Yorkers.
The no-fault system, I think, is broken.
Boy, you're in a heap of trouble.
No-fault rolled out in the 1970s with good intentions, but fraudsters have found a way to cash in.
Fraud is a clear contributor to higher premiums.
Insurers get hit with phony claims. Scam artists collect. And you, the honest person, pay the price.
Fraud is the crime that you and I pay for in New York.
Ellen Malchione is the president of the New York Insurance Association. She says many of the scams are very sophisticated, involving multiple people.
Everyone from the healthcare professionals to the providers to the staged accident folks to the runners.
One example involves a staged crash. People are recruited off the street, packed into cars as fake passengers. They'll conduct a low-speed crash with their own vehicles, pretend they were injured, receive fake treatment, and overbill insurance companies.
Buffalo does have a problem with staged crash rings, no question about it.
Jim Quiggle is with the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud based in Washington, D.C.
Tens of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars are pouring into these rings. It adds up to hundreds of millions of dollars in fake claims a year in New York.
Industry officials say New York City is the epicenter of this type of fraud because of its sheer size and mass of people that can be recruited.
It does affect all the consumers within New York State.
Kevin Gallagher is with the National Insurance Crime Bureau's Northeast region. His agency investigates suspicious claims referred by insurers across the state. According to NICB data, the agency received around 9,000 total questionable referrals statewide last year. Just over 2,000 were no-fault referrals.
A lot of people have the misconception that the insurance companies have deep pockets, they're paying for this. But no, it's getting passed on to all of us through the higher premiums.
According to the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, in 2015, New York State had the second highest average cost for auto insurance in the entire country at $1,234 and change. That's compared to the national average of $889.
Your honest drivers, who especially live in these areas where fraud is prevalent, they pay in higher premiums.
New York is among 12 states with no fault. It's designed to get people medical and lost wage compensation quickly, regardless of who's at fault. The insurer has 30 days to pay the claim on time or pay interest. Ellen Malchione says 30 days is not enough time, and she's pushing for changes to the law.
We are advocating for a bill that would allow a carrier 30 days, more than 30 days, to investigate a claim if they suspect fraud.
She would also like to see a law enacted that would permit insurers to retroactively cancel a policy if it was obtained fraudulently.
These criminals will steal a credit card, they'll go online, they'll purchase insurance, and then within 24 to 48 hours, they go out and they load the car up with passengers and they stage an accident.
Legislation that would toughen the law has been introduced in Albany, but there's no guarantee state lawmakers will move on it.
Does not seem to be any will up in Albany or elsewhere to try to take action to mitigate this.
Republican State Senator Chris Jacobs is a member of the Senate Insurance Committee.
I think this fraud thing is something that we could deal with, and I don't think it would necessarily end no fault at all. I think no fault could still work. I will say I think we do need to take a look at no fault because I think there's problems there in terms of the way it's designed.
John Comerford, a plaintiff's attorney with Lipsitz in Pontario, believes the vast majority of people filing claims are not faking injuries to game the system.
This is a contract. You've paid for these benefits. And if you're injured, you're entitled to the benefits from this policy you paid into. They want to get up in the morning, go work really hard, come home and see their family. They don't want to sit on a couch and collect no-fault benefits.
In New York State, each insurance policy carries a minimum of $50,000 in no-fault coverage for each occupant of the vehicle. While not a huge amount for the honest Joe who requires multiple surgeries and ongoing rehab, it's a significant amount for the faker looking to milk the system.
We think over the last decade it's probably cost New Yorkers almost $2 billion.
This is very, very serious, very egregious. It's really happened for a long time. It's really time for it to be resolved.
Now, attorney John Comerford says there's another side to the no-fault issue, and that, he says, involves doctors hired by insurance companies to conduct independent medical exams. He says in some cases, claimants have been cut off from receiving treatment and lost wage reimbursements.
If those are pulled from you, who's ultimately going to pay for these lost wages and medicals? You and I are. I don't think these insurance companies who hire doctors like this should have a windfall. I think whether it's the claimant or the insurance company, we need transparency.
Comerford says independent medical exams can be very subjective, but he thinks the great majority on both sides work in earnest to get it right. Obviously, that's another side of this, another take on this particular issue.
It's an eye-opener.
Problems all the way around here, on the road, in the medical offices, in the lawyer's office.
Looks like they have a lot to examine and look at.
Yeah,
so
great.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Luke.